to me. So today we are going to study preparing text. Preparing the text for the typesetter. So the principles of copy editing are the same as whether you are working electronically or on paper. So although some of the procedures are different. So this class, in today's class, we are going to discuss the fundamental tasks that all copy editors have to deal with. So we are going to study how the typescript should be marked if you are editing on paper. So we use the word typescript to mean either the author's typed copy that will be set by the typesetter, or as is more usual nowadays, a hard copy printout that the typesetter will be following to amend the author's electronic files. So let us now see what are the various legal aspects involved in this preparing a typescript. Okay, what are the various legal aspects? So the copy editor is one of the few people who read a book or journal thoroughly before publication, and an incidental but extremely important part of the copy editor's role is to keep an eye for any legal problems. So it is useful to have some knowledge of the key areas of publishing law. So the first is the right of integrity. So as I said, an important part of the copy editor's role is to keep an eye for any legal problems. The first is the right of integrity. So under the UK Copyright Designs and Patents Act of 1988. See, under the UK Copyright Designs and Patents Act of 1988, an author has the right to object to derogatory treatment of his or her work. Okay, so derogatory, we can say derogatory can be defined as a distortion or mutilation of the work, or anything that is prejudicial to the honor or a reputation of the author. So this right of integrity is one of the so-called moral rights, which is recognized by the Act. The others being the right of paternity. Right of paternity, that is the right to be identified as the author. That is right of paternity. So what is right of paternity? The right to be identified as the author. So the right to prevent false attribution, that is the right not to be credited with the work he or she, the writer not to be credited with the work he or she has not created, and the right to privacy of certain photographs and films. So some countries, if you see, including the USA, have significant laws protecting privacy. So the right of integrity, whether or not part of a country's law, enshrines a basic principle that can be taken for granted. That is that all changes to an author's text must be subject to his or her approval. So all changes to an author's text must be subject to his or her approval. And there are legally valid exceptions, like where the author is contributing to a newspaper, magazine or periodical, or even to an encyclopedia, dictionary, yearbook, or other collective work of reference. So the right of integrity does not apply, and the publisher has the legal right to cut and edit without the author's permission. Though there are obviously good reasons to tell the author what changes one proposes and to obtain the author's, that is his or her approval if possible. So there are legally valid exceptions. Otherwise, copywriter must get the author's approval to make any change in the typescript. Next is infringement of copyright. This is the next tab, infringement of copyright. See, the most copy editor or you can do to guard against copyright infringement is to ensure that all the necessary permissions to use copyright works have been obtained. If the author has simply incorporated material from another's work without acknowledgement, so it is the duty of the copy editor to see the thing. And in any way, if the copy editor comes to know this, immediately it is his duty to report that to the commissioning editor. Okay, so using the creative work of another person, including their language, their specific ideas, or other work original to them, without acknowledgement, as if it were your own, that constitutes plagiarism. So, using the creative work of another person is plagiarism. So, plagiarism is always unethical and you should be alert to the possibility. So, you have to look for such plagiarisms, that is unacknowledged statements. As I said, it could be a specific ideas or other work original to them, or even it could be a language. So, if you come across, copy editor come across such terms or words, he has to be alert and he has to report that to the commissioning editor. Next, libel. So, libel is a published statement tending to discredit a person in the eyes of reasonable members of the society. So, that is libel. A libel is a published statement tending to discredit a person in the eyes of reasonable members of society. So, to constitute libel, the statement must be untrue. So, that is the first point. To constitute libel, the statement must be untrue. But the burden of proof to the contrary lies with the publisher. So, a person in this context includes a group of people, a society, a company, and so on, as well as even an individual will come into it. And normally the libeled person must be alive. Okay, that is also an important thing. He must be alive. And although there is such a thing as criminal libel, which can apply to the dead, you must be sensitive. That is, copy editors, they must be sensitive to the possibility of libel. And they must be sensitive of any dubious passage to the commissioning editor's attention. So, libel can cause an immense amount of unwarranted distress to the person concerned. So, they have to be very alert about this libel. Next is negligent misstatement. Negligent misstatement is the last one. So, a negligent misstatement can arise in advice, information, or an instruction which it is reasonable to assume the reader will or may act upon, that is inaccurate, either because it is factually incorrect or because a crucial fact has been omitted. So, that is negligent misstatement. Okay, so information, that is information or an instruction which it is reasonable to assume that is, it is factually incorrect or because a crucial fact has been omitted. So, the error may originate with the author or may be introduced by an outside editor or publishing staff or the typesetter. So any queries about such matters arising during copy editing or any other pre-publication stage should be referred to the author again in writing, and all correspondence concerning them should be kept on file to show that the publisher has taken all responsible care to avoid negligence in respect of statements contained in the book. So meet you next class. Thank you.